Food Service Power Plant Network. Oh my gosh, what is up? Wednesday night, my favorite night of the week. It might be your favorite night. I'm not going to guarantee that because you haven't told me that, but I just have a feeling with the people who come on our show and they pump us up and they get us excited and they teach us and we learn and we grow. I have a feeling this is as fun a night for you as it is for me. Tonight is no different. We are going to have Tom Stritch on. And Tom is someone I met in the midst of COVID. And frankly, considering how much fun he and I have on the phone and connecting, I don't know how we didn't meet earlier, but eventually fate brings us together. And he's been a highlight, in one of the hardest years for many of us. There have been gifts and plenty of silver linings along the way. And meeting Tom for me has been one of those. I don't think there's a person that can be around him and not go from a 9 to a 10 or a 2 to a 3 or wherever you're at. And that's going to be tonight. I have a feeling you're going to laugh. I have a feeling you are going to learn something. If you have a notepad, I would get a pen and I would be prepared to write down a few nuggets because tonight is going to be a wisdom bomb. Boom, just dropping on you. It's going to be awesome. Now, a couple of tidbits. First, if you are so welcome to comment and to say hi to Tom or me or whatever, send some love in the midst of it. If you've got questions for Tom, bring them. If you want to know something, you're curious about him, throw the questions in the group. We are going to pop it up just like you see right here. Boom. Love Tom. Someone's loving some Tom. I love it. So bring your questions, bring your comments, anything. We want to hear from you, and we're going to pour some love on Tom. Also, tonight, I'm going to be looking at my phone at different times. That's not because I'm ignoring you or Tom. It's just that we can't always see people's names, just like here, Facebook user. So if you want us to see your name in the group, we'd love it. Go to StreamYard/Facebook. And I think all you do is type your name in. We'll see who you are, like this dude did. Hold on. Where's my mouse? Boom. Rick Palmer went and he made it happen. Pump up the volume. Palmer's in the house. Rick, what's up, brother? Sandy's on. This is going to be so good. Sandy, hello, friend. Hello, user. So that's the deal. We're so excited to have you. It's going to be probably the best hour of your day. I know it will be mine. Let's find him. Tom!
Happening, Jason.
Yeah, brother. I'm so excited to have you on. Thank you for joining us.
I am super excited to be here and just have an hour of attitude with you.
Oh, man, it's going to be incredible. I don't normally tell people to grab a notepad and paper or like a pen and paper. Tonight's the night I think people should.
It's putting a little pressure on.
Don't worry about it. Just be you. Don't be it. You've got a gift, and I don't want to put you in that weird spot, but you do. And I learn things from you every time I hear you. Who are we on? Boom, tell me again, someone. There he is. Always taking notes, baby. Oh, look at this. Your daughter's on.
Whoop, whoop. Love you, Allie.
Oh, Allie, what's up? This is awesome. I frigging love it. All right, I'm trying to find where we are. I'm trying to just see if I can see people here. Fingers crossed. It's not pumped. Oh, there it is. Boom, we're live. Deirdre Flynn is in the house. Beep, 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 beep. What's up, D? Oh, this is so great. Okay, Tom, you've been in the industry a long time. There's a lot of people know you, but certainly there's people that don't. And people don't know you're known as a powerhouse of positivity, frankly.
Hope so.
And but we don't know your journey. We all have a journey. We all have to get to a place, and we're going to talk about your personal journey. Tell us your career journey. Where your greatest roles in the industry have been.
Well, since I was 12, I've really looked at myself as an entrepreneur, and I've always been an entrepreneur. And actually, my older brother, Joe, who spent about 40 years with McDonald's purchasing, he said, you know what, you'd love this industry. You should get into this industry. And we went back and forth, and one thing led to another, and ended up in some conversations with some folks, and I ended up as a VP of beverage air refrigeration back in 1999. And it didn't take very long for me to develop an addiction for this industry. This industry is awesome. So I've been really blessed with the opportunity to work with Beverage Air, work on the rep side with the great Dan Shore at Premier. I've had the opportunity to work in the buying group world, which I love because you get to touch so many people.
Yeah.
With all of my friends at CIFA and Excel and NISCO and Unipro. So I've had the opportunity to work in many different facets of the industry. And as much as I'd like to think I left good things for people and companies, I know that people and companies have touched me all along the way in a really positive way.
I think, like any good relationship, we're giving and we're receiving, and it's mutual. And I know that you're someone who looks for the good in whether it's people, in companies, and you're going to find it. So I have a feeling there's a lot of good things about people in this industry that have affected who you are. Look at this, by the way. I mean, Tom, this is so friggin' great. I want to see you guys try to out-attitude each other. That is really funny. I love it. Okay, this is Emmergerd. Is that Tom Stritch? Mancrush. There is boom. That is so awesome. I love this. I'm trying to find all the comments. Whoa, hold on. Turn that down. Oh, that's John Nunez. Look at that. John Nunez is in the house. Zena. Hi, Zena. Absolutely loves her some Tom.
And Tom loves some Zena.
Oh, so great. I love this. Who's this person? This is Mancrush is Nunez. Mancrush. Oh yeah, it's real. It's real. So you've gotten a lot of cool roles in the industry. You are, I mean, looking at the love here tonight, I kind of called you when I titled this Food Service Positivity Legend. And you didn't ask for that title. That's the one that I chose because in talking with people about you and just in meeting you this year, you're really good at what you do in the industry. You add value to the industry in terms of all the logistics, the nuts and bolts, but you're someone who equally as much as whatever value you bring, I don't think you can help but leave an impression on people and lift people up.
Well, I think, Jason, people who know me, my voicemail has been the same for a decade now. It's the family man, right? I'm all about family. But everything that we do in life for family and in business is pretty much the same. What I try to teach my children is the same way I try to run businesses. And that is looking for what's right.
Yeah.
I mean, life, whether it be family, church, or business, it boils down to it's a series of choices. And you can choose to look for what's right, or you can choose to look for what's wrong. And it's kind of like the late Earl Nightingale used to say, if you think you can, you're right. Yep. If you think you can't, you're right too, right? So I think sometimes we live in a world where, unfortunately, there are times where people think there's a prize if you can find what's wrong, right? And what's wrong is pretty easy to see usually. What takes discipline is looking past the flaws of the person. Lord knows I have them, right? I don't live in a glass house. And looking past that, whether it's a person, a place, or a thing, and finding what is right. And accentuate that and share that. And that, I think, makes for a better company. I think it makes for a better family. I think it makes for a better community. I think it makes for a better person. That's me.
I don't disagree with you, Tom. I mean, you get, what's the phrase? You get whatever you focus on, it expands, and that's what you'll get more of. And if you're looking for the negative, you're going to find a lot more negative. And you and I both know the results of just looking for negative and finding negative. It's kind of a crummy life, crummy journey. And if you intentionally, you use the word discipline. If you discipline yourself to find the good, was there a point in time that you started looking for the good? Was there like a moment or a point? And now I guess I would start, that's a two-part question. Was there a point in time that you started looking for the good? And has the discipline become easier? Is it now almost second nature to be looking for the good?
I'll skip to the second part of that. Absolutely, yes.
Yeah.
It's a habit. It's like a muscle that gets developed, right? So the more you do it, the easier it becomes to look for what's right. You find yourself almost programming yourself to avoid the negative.
Yeah.
I'll give you an example. There's a lot of times where people will say, well, hey, how you doing today? And then you get responses like, oh my God, it's another Monday, or, not bad for a hump day, or whatever, right?
Yep.
Versus, and my wife, Carrie, and I, we learned this early on with the kids. Again, everything is kids and business. You'd ask the kids, how was school today? School sucks, right? But if you ask them, what was the best thing that happened at school today? And you can see their mind will start going, well, and it'd be negative, and then they'll stop because that's not what I asked.
Yep.
And they'll look for what was positive. If you ask somebody, hey, do you feel as great as you look today? You're probably going to get a better response than if you say, how are you doing today? Right?
Yeah.
Just program people to say, hey, what was the best part of your weekend? If you program the way you communicate, you will be, without essentially letting people know, you'll be programming them to respond in a more positive way.
Man, that is there's a lot going on there. Number one is it's a gift to anyone you come in contact with. Two, pretty incredible sales tool. When the questions you ask are guiding people towards finding things that are good, you end up pulling out the good in them. They end up being like, man, I really kind of have more fun when I'm around that Tom guy. Why is it that I see more that's good? So many wins.
It works.
Bolt. What you think about, you bring about. Yes.
Amen. Amen. Well,
coming from a power plant, coming from, last year's dealer salesperson of the year. Goodness gracious. For anyone watching, I don't know if you're seeing themes among a lot of, from Tom, from Bolt, from so many people in our group. There's a reason that certain people end up coming here and encouraging one another. And generally, they're people that are doing their best to keep growing and finding the good. And they end up winning a lot. Zena knows his positive attitude is contagious. That's Zena. Love it.
That's another PSR of the year right there.
Oh, my gosh. I love it.
That's right. So you're attracting some pretty darn positive people here, Jason.
Oh, this is awesome. You and I both, my friend. Tell me, you spoke a little bit to it. I believe anything we do well, to some degree, we've got to love.
Yes.
I'm a huge believer in it's not just about spreadsheets. It's not just about the next, spin selling or the next sales tool book. Heart, inject heart into anything you do. What is it about food service in this industry that you love?
Obviously, the biggest part for me, because I'm a relationship person and I like to love, is I love the people. But ultimately, I guess if you really try to break it down and you look at what got me hooked on this industry, we have so many different tentacles, so to speak, in this industry, right? We have the dealer side, we have the supplier side, we have the consultant side, we have the service side, we have the operator side, we have the customer side. And no matter where it is that you fit into this puzzle, and I've been a couple of different pieces, if you really think about it, we make lives better. That's what we do. We make lives better. And anybody who's on this gets to work with people who are also, whatever it is that you're doing in this industry, somehow you're making somebody's life better. And to me, that's cool as all get out.
What a cool way to say you spent your days. That people left their time with you in a better place than they were before you. Whether you were someone put in here, he loves selling pots and pans. We say all the time, Pretty cool medium what we have. Food service is a medium to get to make people's lives better and care for people and encourage and help them fulfill their dreams, etc. And pots and pans is a great medium to get to do that.
It is. And, we, in this industry, the way I see it, is our industry is big enough that we can make a difference.
Yeah. It's
small enough that we're still a family. And there are people in this industry on this call that I would fall on a sword for, that I openly love. And I feel that goes two ways. And I think we all know people in other industries. And maybe I'm just not aware of it, but I don't know of other industries that are this tight, where people care about each other. You know what? When somebody's up, we're happy for them. When somebody's down, we're trying to help them. People have said to me, Tom, do you ever have a bad day? And hell yeah, I have a bad day. I have a lot of bad days. I do my best not to show it, right? I do my best not to let it on or let people see it. But the people who know me best will see it. David Maxwell, I can tell you, I went through a tough time, and that's just one individual. I could list 100 who's reached out to me and just been there when I needed somebody. Yeah. The industry is big enough we can make a difference. Small enough we're a family, cares about people.
That's beautiful. Joe, our buddy Joe, Tom's gift is his ability to lift others up and make them feel appreciated. What's best is that he is able to do that when there's so much chaos around him. What a great phrase, that you're able to tune out whatever's. I think you kind of have a laser. You're like a shark with a frigging laser beam on your head, Tom, where from what I'm hearing from Joe, you can tune out all the noise, and your mission is the person that you're engaging with in the moment, whether it's Joe, whether it's David, whether it's Nunez, whether it's me or Zena or Bolt, whoever, and the rest is noise, because the person in front of you is the person that matters in that moment.
Well, you're right. And I don't know if you've ever heard of, a long time ago, a lady by the name of Amanda Gore once told me, she said, if you really want to be successful in life, what you should do is picture an imaginary sign around everybody's neck that says, make me feel important. Make me feel special. And I'll never forget, because she said, it doesn't matter whether that person is 5 years old or 92 years old or anywhere in between. That's all we all really want. So if you can figure out just how to make somebody smile or give somebody an attaboy, again, I relate everything back to business as well, right? A pat on the back is only a few vertebrae away from kicking a butt. But I think it goes a lot further, right? So I like to see people, I think of myself on an elevator, and everybody I come in contact with is a button on an elevator. They're either going to take you up or they're going to take you down.
Wow.
And you get to choose, right? If that elevator is going down, I feel I have a responsibility to help that person get to a higher floor. But if I do my best and they're hell-bent on going down to the basement, I got to tap out and let you go, because I'm not going to go there myself.
Yeah. I think that's a super key point about being intentional about the people you choose to surround yourself with. And your goal is to lift everyone up, take them to a higher floor. But you can't, I'm sure you're quite intentional that a lot of negative people who just live their life that way for whatever reason probably don't make it long.
They don't like me much.
Nope. Rick is consultant of the year. Positive thinking. Go for it, Rick. I love it. Rick is the man. Bolt. Tom does make everyone feel special all the time. Gosh, that is awesome.
Special, baby.
Bolt, we love Bolt. This is our buddy Taz. Taz is with Walmart in Arkansas. I am dead. A pat on the back is only a few vertebrae from a kick in the butt. Tom, do you have, or could we create or compose, every time I talk to you, there is, and so far in this conversation, there have been at least 3, like just these Tom-isms of things that you say which have meaning and make me smile and make me think all at the same time. I wonder do you have a list of those that exists?
No, people would think that I would, because I call them Stritchisms. They're just thoughts, that make you think in a positive way. But and people who know me are probably sick of hearing them. So you're just new on the list.
There you go. You got me when it's all still fun. Well, for what it's worth, if anyone's taking notes, let's create a list. I want to create a list that we can laminate. People can take around with them because it's stinking awesome. Okay, look. Oh, Alyssa's on it. Boom. She's crushing it. We've got an awesome question. We might not actually get to any questions, which is fine because I think the energy level is so rad. Devin. Hi, Devin. Hello, my friend. Do you have a mentor or mentors?
Yes. Certainly, I have a lot of mentors. I look for mentors all the time, but I can say offhand, I would say that my dad taught me my work ethic. I would say that my mom taught me how to look for what's right and stay away from self-pity. I would say there's a gentleman in my early career, Ron Borschelt, who taught me the law of averages and to understand the law of averages, that no's just don't matter, right? Some will, some won't. Who cares? Who's next? And I would say probably my biggest mentor is my wife. Carrie makes me want to be a better person.
You're I love it. I love that there's multiple people that you learn things from. We all carry different gifts, and you find the ways to pull out the best in all of it. It's pretty neat when your spouse can be one of your mentors, one of the people that you learn significantly from.
She's arguably the best person I know on the planet.
I don't even know what to say to that other than
I'm prejudiced, right? So that's okay.
I think it's beautiful. I love it. And I would say the same about my wife, about Shannon. I have a feeling that every spouse watching, that they would.
I hope they feel that way.
Yeah, I would agree. Oh my gosh. For everyone, just so you know, there are so many great comments, and I am totally not able to keep up with them, but I'm going to try. So if I don't hit it, please don't be offended. As that great philosopher of our time, Prince, once said, if the elevator tries to bring you down, go crazy and punch a higher floor.
Amen.
Joe, I love it. Oh my gosh. Carrie, Tom is my hero and best friend. Pretty fun when you can both be each other's heroes. Is that something? Let's talk relationship for a minute. It wasn't on the question cards that I sent you ahead of time, but here we go. For anyone who's looking, who's in a relationship, anyone who's watching, they're in a relationship. There might be people who long to be in a relationship. And certainly they are listening to the way that you and Carrie talk about one another. Clearly there's love and connection and respect and everything. Is that something that I don't know if this is too personal. I have a feeling I can't get too personal with you, but has it always been that way? Is that something that's continued to develop over time?
Well, I think the biggest thing is she realizes how lucky of a woman she is. Right? I can say that because she's in a different room, and I don't think she'll come in and kill me while I'm on here. But no, it always has been that way for us. And there are certain things that we do that I think may be different from other people that helps keep it alive. Like for us, we're very big on grateful list. We will, in life throws storms at us, right? We're no different. We're not immune to storms. We're either in a storm or we're heading towards one, right? Or we just left one. And so we've had those too. So it's important to always, when you're looking at the crud, to make sure that you can see past it. And that's a grateful list. So write down what you're grateful for. We do that independently, and then we share them. And then since you went personal, I'll get real corny on you. There's something that we do each year. We do it around Valentine's Day. I've traveled most of my business life, so it's rarely on Valentine's Day, but somewhere around Valentine's Day, we'll go to dinner. And before we go to that dinner, we each have to take time, again, independently, and write down the 10 best experiences we've had in the past year. And we bring those with us to that dinner. And oftentimes the first 2 or 3 are the same, right? It's like, hey, we were walking hand in hand on the beach in Charleston, and remember we saw that or whatever, right? Pretty common things. And then as you get into like number 4, 5, and 6, well, that's when you have to really think. And it's like, oh my God, do you remember that night we did, right? Oh my gosh. And it's like, whoa, and it pulls out this positive out of the depths, right?
Yeah.
And then as you get into 8, 9, and 10, oftentimes what we have found is that some of the best experiences that we have came from tragedy, came from really bad crap that happened, that in the end, something worked out. And in the end, somebody got better. You know, we were devastated over this person being sick. And then do you remember when they were okay? And it was that sign of relief. Yeah, so many of the best times in our marriage, and I think in life, come from the worst times. But sometimes we look at the bad and then we leave it in that bad bucket, and we forget to pull it out of that bucket when it deserves to be pulled out of the bucket.
Yeah.
And become a positive. And those are some of our biggest positives. That's probably more info than you were looking for.
It's not. It's beautiful. And I have a feeling that anyone who's in a relationship probably wrote it down just the way I did. So thank you for sharing. And Shannon and I will be talking about it. I'm sure it'll bless our relationship. Tom and Carrie are a great marital example. Super fantastic parents. Devin is sending the love that you are one of her mentors, which is awesome. Who is this? I don't know that I'll be able to see it. This is, let me see if I can find it. This is, I can't find it right now, but that's okay. Whoever this is, thank you, Tom Stritch, for helping me get through some of my down days. You always made me feel amazing. You, my friend, are one of a kind. I am a sponge around you. Oh, it's Zena. Love Zena.
I love you too, Zena.
Beautiful.
Love you too. Give Steve a big man hug for me.
Heck yeah. Harrison, our brother Harrison. Love that ritual. Thank you for sharing.
Absolutely.
I have a feeling people are taking notes. Okay, talk about when you are in those moments, in the moments that are tough at times, the bitter moments, when you wake up and it's a tough day. And do you have any go-tos personally that you're like, you know what, here's what I'm going to do to prime myself up, to take myself, it's on me right now to get me from the second floor of the elevator. I just need to get to level 5 right now. Yeah. What are some of those things for you?
Well, I call it giving myself a checkup from the neck up. Right? I think we need to get our oil changed in our car every 3,000 miles. And there's a certain amount of days that we can go, if not hours, where we need a mental tune-up, a mental checkup. Yep. And I can't wait on anybody else to come by and pump me up, right? Yep. Because what if they don't show up?
Yep.
Right? What if they're having that off day? So it's up to me. So for me, it's reading something inspirational or spiritual. Yep. It's self-talk. I think my daughter was on here earlier. She knows because, she'd get up for school. She wouldn't want to go. And, the whole family is, hey, I feel good. I feel great. You may not feel so good. You may not feel so great. But if you keep telling yourself you feel good, you feel great over and over and over again, all of a sudden you're going to start to feel pretty darn great. And when we realize that life is not designed to respond to need, a lot of people need things.
Yeah.
life is designed to respond to deserve.
Hmm.
So, my mom used to talk to me about earning the right for good things to happen. If I want good things to happen, there are certain things I have to do and certain things I have to block that I cannot do. And I'm not always the best at that. They creep in. I have been as guilty as anybody. But the idea is to give yourself that checkup from the neck up so that you can get back on track.
Oh, Tom, beautiful. It's there's certain things in your world that you got to be accountable to in your world to put yourself in a place to receive that good. I love that Allison is preaching it. I feel good. I feel great. We talk all the time about affirmations. Here's my morning affirmation list. I go through different categories of life.
Awesome.
I laminated it. So like I just traveled on a trip, I guess this week or I don't remember when, and I put this in my backpack so that in the morning when I wake up, I can read it wherever I am. I've got one in the shower so that when I'm home and I'm doing this, that I can read off these things and start getting myself in that place. And I love that you do that and it's a part of your family time. What's okay, here we go. Hold on. This is we'll see if we can find this. I always remember Tom pulling me together during my dark time. He offered great advice and a shoulder to cry on. I hadn't known him long at that point, but I'm forever grateful for his words. Love you, Tom. This is, oh, you know what? This is Ortiz. Ortiz Yoli. Beautiful.
Yolanda. That's Yoli.
Got it.
Love you too, Yolanda.
Chris Rolling, our buddy Chris. The sweet ain't so sweet without the bitter. Tom, listening to what you say, when I think about my life and the challenges, it's people sometimes ask me, how do you stay positive? How do you have so much energy? I met with a guy earlier this week, one of our buddies in the group right now. He goes, how do you have the energy for it? And particularly with some of the challenges, if you can get through those tough moments and recognize that there's a gift there, that there's something to be learned, there's a way to come out of here stronger, there's a way to come out of this situation knowing that I will be more capable to handle the next challenge because of the way I handle this one.
Yep.
Then eventually you become a little bit less afraid of those moments of challenge. And I'm not saying things don't still come and crush you.
They do.
But the more challenges you go through, I think Jack Canfield said, confidence is simply is created through surviving a risk.
Yeah.
And the more of those you get through, the more confident you believe in your ability to figure it out and get through the next one.
We don't grow when things are easy, right? We grow through adversity and through reflecting on that adversity and learning from it. That's what makes us stronger. That's what makes us better.
I agree, buddy. Can you tell us, when you and I talked on the phone a few weeks ago, you talked to me about your mom and what she was a big influence in you. And you talked about her earlier being a mentor. Can you talk about some of what you learned through, your mom went through some challenges?
Sure.
And growing and how that helped influence your perspective on life?
So, sure, thanks. Some people know this, but I come from a family, 6 kids, right? Mom, dad, 6 kids, Irish Catholic. And when my mom was 40, she had a massive stroke. So she was given a 10% chance of living through the night. Mm. And sure enough, she did live through the night. In fact, she lived 43 more years. Mm. However, she was paralyzed. She was a lefty, a southpaw, but she was paralyzed on the entire left side of her body. So she had no use of her left arm and a left leg. And she still raised all 6 of us kids, right? I don't know how she did it. And she always looked for what was right. And she would always teach us to look for what was right. I mean, we'd come home and somehow our clothes were clean, our homework was checked, she would make sure that what we needed in life from a mom, she still got there. And never, ever did she ever have, that I saw, a day of self-pity, right? I'm on the 405 in California. I got self-pity, right? I'm looking at signs for the airport, nothing but red lights in front of me. I got self-pity. My mom never had self-pity. And she used to take her hand and she'd go like this, which is the I love you sign in peace, right? And she used to say, Tommy, because she called me Tommy, and she would say, keep the fork. And some people are familiar with the story, but it's not my mom's, but she plagiarized it. And she added upon it. But keep the fork essentially was about an elderly woman who she found out she was terminally ill, and days were numbered. So she called her pastor and she said, hey, I'd like you to come by. I want to put my affairs in order. And he said, got it. Be right there. And she said, at my service, I would like you to read these readings. I would like to have these Psalms read. I would like to have a picture of my late husband and my children. I would like these flowers. And, I want to be buried in this dress, or my favorite dress. And pastor's writing it down. Got it. And he says, is there anything else? She says, yes, there's one more thing. And he goes, okay. She says, I'd like to be buried with a fork, right, in my right hand. And he's like, okay, why is that? And she says, Pastor, I've been coming to these church functions most of my life. And notoriously, we have dinner. And then when dinner is over, there's some young people coming up to me and they'll take my plate and they'll say, keep your fork. And right then, she said, I realize that I don't necessarily know what's coming, but it's dessert. And I don't know whether it's a decadent piece of chocolate pie, or whether it's a piece of cheesecake, or whether it's peach cobbler. I don't know. But I know whatever it is, that the best is yet to come. And so the pastor's kind of looking and saying, okay, but I'm not following. And the woman says, Pastor, when people come to my service, she goes, I don't necessarily know. I'm not able to imagine heaven. They tell us that. Yeah. But I do know this. I know it's better than anything here. And I know that I am so strong in my faith that I know that where I'm going, the best is indeed yet to come. And I want to make sure that if anybody comes to my service, there's no tears of sorrow for me, that there's only tears of joy, because my life is going to an all new place. And my mom used to tell that story, and she used to say, Tommy, you don't have to wait until this life is ending. She goes, no matter where you are in life, whether you're in a peak or whether you're in a valley. And she said, Tommy, you're going to be in both. You're going to be in both. But no matter where you are, if you earn the right, you can honestly expect that the best is yet to come. If you focus on looking for what's right in people, in places, in things, if you only expect good things to happen, if you do the right thing, especially when you have a chance to do the wrong thing, if you do these things, no matter where you are in life, the best will always be in front of you. And I've tried to teach my children that. Carrie and I, we live our lives like that. And I've had some great ups in this industry, and I've had some downs. But I can tell you right now, from where I'm sitting, the best is yet to come.
There's something about the hope of good coming that creates joy today.
Yes.
I was talking to someone today who they were getting ready to go on their first vacation in like 2 years, and they were so excited because they're like, I've got something to look forward to. They hadn't had something to look forward to in a while. And I think when you live with that attitude, Tom, then there's always something to look forward to. And I think to your point too, that there's a choice to think the best is yet to come or the shoe's about to drop.
Right.
And there's a lot of people that live their life expecting the shoe to drop. They wake up in the morning, oh man, what's going to go wrong today that I'm going to have to solve? What contractor is going to scream at me today? Or what, whatever that thing is, as opposed to, you know what, I'm going to expect that today people are going to be on my side and things are going to go great today.
Yeah. And you know what? That doesn't mean we live in a Pollyanna world, Jason. In business, I figure we're going to get hit with 10 problems every day, right? That's a good number. 2 of them are going to suck, right? They're going to be really bad. We're going to have to figure out what the heck are we going to do. Yep. And then 8 of them are going to be obstacles. And I'm convinced that God has a sense of humor, right? That's one funny dude. And he gives us opportunities all the time, but he camouflages them and makes them look like challenges. And we have to uncover them and we have to unveil them in order to take advantage of them. So we're going to have problems, expect them, and know that they're leading towards something positive.
I love it. I hope friends are taking notes. Rob, our buddy Rob.
Hey, Rob.
That is so great. I think I will start carrying a fork with me, remembering the best is still in front of us.
Amen.
Yeah, brother. I love it. Okay, finish this statement. Real quick, anyone, remember the comments are unbelievable. The enthusiasm, the energy. This is just so fun and awesome. If you've got a question for Tom, you are welcome to throw it in. And just so you know, anyone who's wondering anything about him, his story, etc., how he, whatever you got, you're welcome to throw it in. Rob, I love it. Carry a fork. Be careful. Don't let it stick you. Finish this statement, Tom. I am most alive when I feel most alive when. What is happening when you feel most alive?
I would say I'm helping an underdog. I think I've always been an underdog, so I kind of have a tendency to root for the underdog.
Yeah.
So whether it's business or personal, if I'm helping in any way lift somebody up, I'm helping myself a lot more. And most of the time, those people don't realize it.
What is it about that moment when you're helping up an underdog, when you're helping them figure out what is it that's helping lift you up as well?
It's a high. It's a rush. If that doesn't get you going, your wood's wet, right? If you can't see somebody else improving or some situation getting better, and that doesn't touch you in a positive way, I don't know what will, right? I think, people who know me get sick of me saying this, but I think the largest room in the world is the room for improvement, right? It's the room for improvement. I don't care how big of a ballroom we're in at some of our industry events, it's not as big as the room for improvement. And when we can help somebody reach their potential, to me, that gets me going, because I know there are countless people inside and outside of this industry and inside and outside of my family that have helped me.
The room for improvement. Some people, it's possible to see, by the way, someone's saying, I don't know who this is. Who is this? The this is Taz. The FSPN logo is a fork. Think about it.
Yeah.
It's interesting, Taz, because when this logo came out, I don't know, a month or two ago, I can't remember if it was Bolt or Tom or someone said, have you heard Tom's story about the best is yet to come? And I'm like, I have no idea what you're talking about. They're like, the fork. You got to talk to Tom. And I love it. What's that?
I said, thank Bolt.
Yeah, Bolt saw it. Taz, you spotted it. I think that is a great symbol right there that I hadn't thought of in the fork before that anyone can look for. The best is yet to come. I love it. There's what were we talking about? What was I saying? Opportunity, the improvement, the room for improvement. some people look at that and it can be discouraging because they're thinking that there's a place that they're going to get to. And man, if there's always room for improvement, then I'm not going to get there. But there's actually Rob, our buddy Rob talked about this. How about how curiosity and learning is the fountain of youth, always wanting to learn more, grow more, develop more. And I think there's a balance between saying where I'm at is I'm good enough. I'm loved. I'm known. I'm cared for. I'm solid. I'm me. And also carrying, in the other hand, this opportunity to grow and always be learning more and that next thing to learn about.
Well, people say when you're green, you're growing. When you're ripe, you're rotten, right? So we should always be learning and growing. And one thing that I see that you and our network talk a lot about is goals, right? I mean, people want things, that's good. People desire things, that's good. But when you really have a goal, and you understand what a goal is, that it has to be tangible, right? That it has to have a date tied to it, that it has to be written down. Goals are what keeps people excited. Goals are what keeps me excited, right? For me, I remember way back, I was in my early 20s, and this Mr. Borschelt, who I mentioned, he said to me one day, he goes, "Stritch, how much money do you have saved?" And so I went in my pocket to figure out how much money I had, right? And he goes, "Is that all the money you got?" I said, "Yeah." He goes, "You're broke." I said, "Yeah." He goes, "Well, who sold you on that plan?" And I said, "I don't know," right? And he said, "Well, the first good news is broke is temporary, poor is a state of mind." He goes, "But first thing we have to do is change your thinking, and you have to decide where you want to be." He said, "A year from now is going to come, and you got a much better shot at having some money in your pocket if you decide right now that a year from now you're going to have some money in your pocket." And he got me involved in goal setting, and goal setting just helps us determine, whether it be 1 year like he used in that example at the time, or 5 years, it's going to come. And if we decide now where we're going to be, or what we're going to have, or what we're going to do in that time frame, we got a better shot of getting there. I mean, you just took the family down to Florida, right?
Yep.
Was it, right?
Yeah.
And you had to decide at some point, you and Shannon, that, hey, we're going to go here. And then you made the plans to go there. Well, how excited were the kids about going? They didn't wait until they got to the beach where they felt the sand to where they decided, okay, I'll be excited now, Dad. No, it was that whole journey, right? That's what goal setting is deciding we're going to do something, and that's what keeps the excitement going. For me.
Oh gosh, I love it. You're right. I think it first comes the desire, the vision, that feeling that you want to have about whatever that is. And the goal is simply your commitment to saying, you know what? I'm worth it. I'm worth getting that experience I want, that feeling I want, whether it's of pride or of security or whether of sleeping at night. And the goal is my way of saying, I'm worth pulling this off and working towards it. Jeff Griffith is in the house. Ladies and gentlemen, oh my gosh, I love this. Jeff, I think that may be the best lesson I've learned from Tom. Being an advocate for others is some of the greatest fuel for happiness.
Amen.
I really appreciate all the positivity and perspective. He's a guy you can't believe is sincere until you've seen him over and over again. He never changes. Thank you, Tom. Jeff, love it, man.
Thanks, Jeff.
Thanks for sharing that, brother. Was there, let's talk, we've talked about family. You just talked about vacation. You are an entrepreneur at heart, you said earlier, and you are a family man.
Correct.
And some people look at that and say, those two things don't go together, Tom. I don't know. You must be drinking out of a funky water fountain because you're either one of the, you can't, it's either or. It's not both and. But you found a way to pull both and off. Talk to people, and I talked to a friend this week who he's got a young family and he's grinding at work and he's trying to figure out how to balance it all. What, we set this goal to go on this vacation, but what advice would you have for someone like you that and most of us in food service, we're entrepreneurs at heart. We're here building something for a whole host of reasons. So what would you say to someone to who wants to be able to be more intentional with family and also be that entrepreneur and experience that success in business?
Well, first of all, I think it's a great question, right? And I think you have to understand going in, it's hard. Most great things in life aren't easy, by the way, right? So it's hard. And I know firsthand that I've been really great at it and I've been really poor at it. It takes both. So for me, it's very easy for me to, especially spending pre-pandemic 20 years on the road, being the road warrior that so many of us are. It's difficult when you're gone so much not to just be all up in it, right? So one of the things that you said, this person has some young children.
Yep.
When our kids were young, this is back before cell phones, right? We're dating ourselves. We went out, we spent like $800 and, one of those like spider conference room speaker phones, right? And we got it and we would put it by our bed. And if you ever want to meet a child, sometimes the best place to meet them is in a book. So while I was on the road, we would buy books in sets of 2. And depending on the age of my children, I would read to them over the phone from my hotel at night. And as they got older and they could read, they would read to me. So I think with that, my, not advice, but my thoughts would be to find a way to always be connected and to be purposeful about it. Your time with your family, again, people who know me close know I'm big on #family-first. Make sure you have that time for your family. And as somebody once taught me, wherever you are, be there. Right? There's a story of there's this guy and he's sitting on a dock and he's fishing with his 10-year-old son. And the only thing he's thinking about is a meeting that he's got coming up the following day. And then at that same time, there's some guy who's in a meeting with a big business proposal. And the only thing he's thinking about is come Saturday, he's going to be sitting on a dock fishing with his son. Neither one is going to be productive. Wherever you are, be there. And then when you're not there, be where you're supposed to be. If you're at work, be at work. If you're at home, be at home. And it's hard because all of us, we take our work at home. But we do have to carve time out for that family that is dedicated for them. I know it's a rule that's really tough these days, but Allie's on here. She'll tell you, when we have family dinners, right? My kids are grown, so we don't get to have them as often as we used to. There's no cell phones at the table. No cell phones at the table. Take some time for just family.
Tom, I love it. They're always be where you are. I would say that's a really important lesson. The amount of time I've been somewhere not where I actually am is profound.
Guilty as charged. Here too.
Yeah, me too. And I think one of the things that helped me along the way, I learned this from a guy. He said, he goes, you know how I can walk into your life without ever talking to you and figure out what's important? Sometimes he goes, let me look at your calendar. And sometimes for me, and I learned this back in my worry days and when I was really anxious and depressed, and that anxiety would creep everywhere. And I had a therapist at the time say, you know what, why don't you book time to be anxious? Like literally, let's put it in your calendar. I'll let you be anxious. I'm just not going to let you be anxious all day long. So let's book time. And when, if you're talking to Tom and you guys are having a great time and you're meeting with all these friends, but you're anxious, anxiety's creeping in, well, just tell anxiety, you know what, I'm going to give you time later. I'll get to you. We'll do this dance that we do. But right now I'm with Tom. And so for, anyone watching, whatever creeps in, oftentimes a calendar is a really great way to decide what's important to you. And whether it's those dinners, put dinner in the calendar. And I love that you don't do phones, that you can intentionally be together. I love the idea of reading books to your kids while you're gone, buying 2 books, 2 of everything. That is beautiful. Oh my gosh. Danielle, took me 10 plus years to achieve the mental mindset to be where you are and to be present. Work-life balance is achievable. I love it. Tom, if we go over a couple minutes, are you okay? Or do you have a hard stop?
I'm good.
Okay.
Hold on. Hey, am I okay? She said I'm okay.
I love it. I love it. I don't want to eat into whatever calendar time you guys had. So anyone, if you've got questions for Tom, this is huge gift, Tom, to us. When you're not working and you're not with family, what are your hobbies? What do you do other than some of the positive mindset stuff when you're doing your affirmations? Any hobbies that you do that fill you up?
My biggest hobby is mental gardening. And what I mean by that is, people, we put gas in our cars, we put food in our body. I'm one of those people long before I started looking into like neuro-linguistic programming, right? Your mind is a garden. And if you just let it go, it's going to grow weeds. So for me, when I have that private time, what I want to be doing is feeding my mind, whether that be spiritual information, inspirational information, leadership information, or maybe just a good book. But one of my favorite things to do is feed my mind. It's one of the things about this pandemic that I missed the most because I was on airplanes all the time, like so many of us. And I loved the fact that you could not use your phone on the airplane, right? That was my time. And that's where I did all my mind feeding, so to speak, where I fed my mental garden. So that's my biggest thing.
What an unbelievable answer. Mental gardening. Someone said once, even we have so many times in our day that are relatively idle and mindless. So doing the dishes, mowing the lawn, sweeping the garage, folding the laundry. And someone told me it's very similar. She said, in those times, I intentionally choose what I'm going to listen to.
Yes.
And very much to your point, she would choose inspirational books or, videos or whatever. And that's how she was filling her time in those sort of idle moments of life that happen all the time.
I do it all the time. Now, as I say that, don't be a hater, don't judge, but I also try to put some good amount of Grateful Dead in my head too.
That is no judging. I love it. That is so great. This is a great quote. Is that why you're such an awesome cook? Oh, this is Joe. Is Joe, I'm assuming Joe's connected to you.
You know what? Could be.
Joe Stritch.
Yeah, well, that would be connected to me.
I love it. What a great analogy. When you're doing a lot of mental gardening and you end up being a good cook. That's a great way to put that, Joe. Well said. If you would, if you were to define success, what does success mean to you? Everyone's looking to be successful in some way. Everyone defines it differently. You've lived a story of incredible influence and impact. So I think it's a great question to ask you.
Success is not working. So hold on.
Yeah.
Somebody once said that success doesn't come between 9 and 5. Success comes between 6 a.m. and midnight. And when the love of what you're doing outweighs the fatigue of doing it. So I have been blessed to work so many years in this industry, and we use the term work. And some days I did work. We all have those days. But for the most part, I haven't had to work because I love what I do. Mm-hmm. And I love helping people. And I love seeing results. And I love seeing people excited, motivated. I think part of leadership is to help people see a vision and then to help people see their own contribution towards that vision. And when you're doing that, you're really not working.
Mm.
I don't know if that answers your question, but that's my idea of success, is doing what you love to do. And the fact that we get paid for it's awesome.
I think it totally answers my question. It's what's the quote, love what you do and you'll never work a day in your life. I remember someone told me that years ago, and it was at a time when I was in a tough spot, and I was like, I might need to move into something new, so that I can start experiencing that love again, and that it doesn't feel like work.
Yeah. I mean, look at baseball teams, right? Somebody's batting 150, they get rid of him, right? And all of a sudden, this guy finds himself on a new team with a new coach, and he's batting 375.
Yeah.
Right? Sometimes we just need a change of environment. It doesn't mean the love is gone. Doesn't mean success is gone. Doesn't mean your value's gone.
Yeah. Great answer. Oh my gosh. Favorite movie that makes you cry?
What's funny, when I married Carrie, I checked my man card at the altar, so I cry a lot. Right? Truth be told, I do. I cry a lot. I like movies of the spirit, right? That get you going, like Men of Honor or Shawshank Redemption. And I remember in that one, who is it, Tim Robbins?
Yep.
I can get busy dying, or I can get busy living. I want to get busy living. So yeah, any movie where the underdog makes it, it's probably going to make me cry.
Oh, so does Jay. I am a huge crier. I cried when Leslie Knope on Parks and Recreation was elected to city council, for crying out loud. It was, and Todd, this is funny. I knew we were connected. When I was in college, I had 2 movie posters in whatever room I was in college, wherever I lived at the time.
Right.
One of them was Braveheart. All men die, not every man truly lives.
Amen.
And the other one was Shawshank Redemption. And I forget, I'm trying to remember the line at the bottom of the movie poster. But I love that that's the movie you said. So many redemptive moments in that movie for multiple people. Some tough stuff too, but a lot of redemption. In 50 years, when the industry looks back at Tom Stritch, I mean, it's a little bit obvious. I almost feel silly asking the question because it's so obvious looking at what people say about you here. When they look back at Tom Stritch's legacy, what do you hope they say?
Well, first, I hope I'm always recognized for being a great husband and a great father. That's always going to be number one. And beyond that, I hope that people say I was a high button on their elevator. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
That I pulled them up and I didn't take them down. That's what I hope they say.
Gonna make me cry. Got a feeling there's a lot of people that you're an up button for them. Allison Cody is on. Allison! Oh.
Hi, Allison. Woo, woo.
Amazing person right there.
Amen.
Tom, there's been a lot of love. I had a few people that I connected with, and some people Bo had put in the event earlier when talking about you. I've been privileged to work under him. I wish it would have happened 20 years ago. I'm honored now to consider him a friend. I joked with him yesterday, heckled him today, but not today. Too much respect for him.
Yeah, thanks, Bob.
Our buddy Bolt. Yeah, you're I don't know what the highest floor in a building is on an elevator, but probably like 70. So I don't even know, but you're probably 70 something for a lot of people. Tom is amazing. He always makes it about everyone else. He is the absolute most positive person I have ever met. Once after a CIFA conference, the Avanti group had a tight timeline to get to the airport, and he got the entire bus to chant Avanti, Avanti, Avanti. He made sure we were the first people to exit the bus, and we made our flight while laughing all the way. Another theme that keeps coming up. He also has an incredible love for his wife and talks about how fabulous she is. Love me some Tom. And I'm going to share one more. This is our buddy, Troy Hansen. Tom is the most positive person I know. Genuinely a great guy. Even in hard times, he always seems to come out on top. I think that might be because of his positive attitude. He said, here's a story. My youngest son was struggling at one time, and Tom and I and another one and this son played golf together. And you played with that son.
I did.
Tom's influence on my son was the best ever in his life, just from 4 hours of playing with him. His confidence grew, and the next time Tom came out, he made sure to invite him to dinner with us.
Love you too, Troy.
Tom, you got me in tears, man. He is a man of his word. All you have is your name when it's all over. Boom, Zena.
Boom, shakalaka.
They'll say you're a role model for positivity. That's what they're going to say. Tom, I love you, man.
I love you too, man. Man hugs all the way.
Boom, boom. You know what? Thank you for what you've done for so many, and for all the great ways you've contributed to companies and making them better, and all the ways you've touched a lot of lives and made them better. And I think there are a ton of notes that I got tonight and that people will have. We need to put it on a priority list. If people want to send me Tomisms that Stritchisms, if you've got Stritchisms, message me or email me if you have that, or find me. I think it'd be fun to create an epic list because number one, they make me smile. They make me laugh, which makes me feel lighthearted and releases endorphins to challenge whatever stress levels and cortisol, all the chemical reasons why we laugh. They also make me think, and they also give me hope. Allison. And are you great at karaoke?
That's funny, Allison. No, they usually unplug it when I sing. In fact, Allison may have done that.
Allison is one of the best at karaoke ever. And I would, that's so fun. I would say one of the things, if I were to ask Allison, when do you come alive? Karaoke. Tom, wow. Such a joy to hear from you. That's my bride, Shannon Wage. Babe, love it.
Look forward to meeting you.
Oh, it's going to happen. Zena says, family man.
Amen.
This is our buddy D. D, great conversation as always. Great people. Thank you, Jason and Tom. Beep, beep. Beep, 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 beep.
Move along. Move along.
Oh, D, love you. Great you're here. Zena wants to know, is there a wine story?
Well, if you want to have wine with Zena, she will pick out a very good wine and then have you drink it in 110 degrees at a restaurant that has indoor dining and air conditioning, but she wants to sit outside by the water at 110 degrees, at 150 degrees humidity. Oh my God. It was horrible. It was horrible, Gina. It's a good thing the company was amazing.
So good. Oh gosh. Zena, way to stick with your guns on that one. I bet the view was amazing. Tom sweated his tail off.
It was amazing.
But that's really funny. Everyone, hey, from Tom and I, thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
Hopefully it was a great night of insights and encouragement and hope and pumping you up. We're starting to get back out there. And, so many good insights on ways to continue to connect with family as we get back on the road and as we're back on planes and seeing customers, et cetera. Great insights about mental gardening, taking care of up here. Because, really it starts here. Before you can take care of your hood and your brood and your family and your company and your people, you got to put the oxygen mask on you. Yeah. And do some mental gardening for yourself. Take care of you. Keep dreaming. Remember, if you are there's a lot of hope right now. In fact, our message, I think, on Monday with Kamil is going to be about hope. And if you're in a spot right now where you're like, you know what, I appreciate and I'm excited for everyone else that they're experiencing hope, but that's not my reality right now. I wish I were. Just, you know what? It's okay. Of course you're not. Remember we remove all the shame from that. Of course you're in a tough spot right now. Totally fine. There's a reason. And you keep moving, you keep walking. You're welcome to message Tom, message me. Virtually everybody that's had a conversation in the Power Plant Network has said you can always reach out to them if you need someone who can just give an ear for a little bit or listen or guide you or point you in the right direction. So keep moving, keep grinding. There's a lot of things happening in the industry. There's a lot of, if you've been out without work for the last, year or months, lots of opportunities are popping up, and continue to add the value that you do, and keep searching any way that we can help you. We will. Don't forget, we've got Craig and the American Recruiters team that you can always connect with as well to help you find work. They're unbelievable at what they do. So many great men and women on that team. Thank you, Tom and Jason, Zena, absolutely. Bob Pinter, cheers, gentlemen. Bob, thanks for joining us.
Thanks, Bob.
Chris Perrott, thank you. Great conversation, Chris. Woo! So glad you're here.
Love you, Chris.
Oh, I love it. Jeff Tate. Jeff, boom. Thank you, guys. Great job. Jeff, great to see you.
Congrats,
my friend. Our buddy Rob. Rob, love you, man. Thanks, Jason and Tom. Awesome conversation. Glad you were here. I'm glad you make it. I hope dinner was great tonight. Joe Stritch, the bro I know. Proud to be your bro. Keep lifting. I'm gonna cry again. You might be my new Leslie Nope, Tom. This Bob Pinter. If you find yourself going through hell, keep going.
Amen.
Well said, Bob. Oh my gosh, preaching. Lisa Knutson, love this. Lisa, we're really glad you are here. Everyone, lots of love. Keep going. We will see you next week. Tom, thanks again for joining us. Much love to you, my man. Keep rocking, brother, and thank you.
Back at you. We'll see you at the top.
You got it, brother. Everybody have a great night. See you soon.
Take care, everybody. Stay positive.